Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Imperfect Marketing. I'm your host, Kendra Corman, and today I am joined by Marco. He is the founder of marketingboost.com. He has helped thousands of business owners worldwide boost sales and scale their businesses by as much as fivefold through the use of incentive-based marketing. He teaches entrepreneurs how to source sales and marketing through the use of value-added incentives instead of discounts, which I am a big fan. Discounts are not good. His Facebook group is home to more than 27,000 active business owners who are raking in sales with his advice and amazingly affordable subscription program. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Kendra. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so I'm just going to start off with, I already said it, I believe discounting is not a positive activity, and people get used to discounts and start looking for them. Is that why you look to do value-added incentives instead of discounts?
Well, absolutely. And, so many of us make that mistake as entrepreneurs, right? You figure, well, how can I stand out from the crowd? How can I beat my competitors? Well, I'll be the cheapest on the block. I'll be the most affordable on the block. And of course, that might work for a little while until somebody decides they'll be more affordable than you. And that's if you even ever made a dent in the marketplace. And then once they're more affordable than you, you're on a race to the bottom. And a lot of people don't even know their numbers, right? One of the worst things you can sometimes figure, let's suppose at the end of the day, you're after all expenses, your overhead, your rent, your staff, your advertising expense, you ended up with maybe a 20% net profit. So now you come up with a great idea from your marketing guy. Let's give a 10% discount. And even a number as small as 10%. Well, if your profit is only 20% and you give a 10% discount, you just gave away 50% of your profit. And now, and that campaign, that promo, that 10% off promo, if it doesn't double your sales, I mean, you need to double just to be back where you were the day before. So you need to be tripling or more your sales for that discount to have made an impact to your bottom line. So not a good idea for most of us to be getting into a habit of doing discounts or training your customers to be waiting for your next promo cycle, unless you're marketing things up dramatically before you start discounting is not a great idea. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
people get into the habit of looking for the discounts. And one of the things that you said is if you're trying to differentiate yourself by being the lowest cost in the marketplace, a lot of times that drives away business too, because people are like, oh, this is so cheap. I don't know if it's worth it. Right? So they think it's too cheap.
Exactly. And I've been guilty of that because one of my main products is so affordable that it does sound too good to be true or what have you. But yeah, at least it's but I get your point there. You can be, looked on as a negative because, I'd rather be paying more for the premium product, so to speak, as somebody might think. And if your product is, discounted way down there, there must be a reason for it, so to speak. And then
Yeah.
you're leaving a lot of room for your branding and so on. So with us, it came about, we built a business we call marketingboost.com today, and it kind of came about by accident. But the idea was originally for us to generate more. We wanted more testimonials. I don't know if you want to go down that road about what Marketing Boost is, Kendra, or how we got
Why
there.
don't you share what Marketing Boost is?
Sure. So first, I'll tell the story of how we came about. We were in the business in the travel space, and my partners and I have been in the travel business since 1993. But in 2010, we started a different brand of a travel website, and it was doing really, really well. But we wanted video testimonials and reviews, but we couldn't get hardly anybody to ever film us. And we were selling gorgeous resorts and hotels around the world. And we were hoping, man, if we only had people film a selfie testimonial, if we had that social proof all over our website, we'd sell more of these vacations. But we couldn't get anybody to do it. So we came up with an idea to offer people a bonus vacation if they would, when they were on vacation, if they would film a selfie testimonial video bragging about the hotel they were staying at and bragging about our brand. And if they did that, we'd reward them with a bonus trip of 3 nights in either Orlando or Las Vegas. Now, Kendra, that took off like a rocket. And before we knew it, we were getting dozens and then hundreds of these video reviews coming in. But one more tip I'll give your audience here. This is something anybody can implement immediately in whatever business you're in, because we all need more social proof. You all need more testimonials and reviews coming in on a consistent basis as part of your marketing strategy. And what we did, which is not very, it's not as common as maybe it could be, which is we did a survey when we felt our clients were going to be at their peak of happiness. Rather than just asking everybody for a review, we would ask everybody to first fill out a survey when we felt they'd be at their peak of happiness. In our case, it was the day after they checked into the hotel. We'd send them an email and a text message saying, "Hey, how's our service so far?" And mind you, this is a private response we're not asking them to post this response across the internet yet. We're asking them privately, "Can you give us a star rating from 1 to 5? How is the hotel living up to your expectation? How's our service been so far?" If they did give us a 1, 2, or 3 for some reason, that gave us the feedback we needed to immediately jump back with them, see if we could help solve the problem, eliminate that hotel if we had too many of the same comments from clients from our inventory list, etc. We could take action. If they gave us a 4 or 5, we were then asking those people who were thrilled about our service to go that extra mile and film us if they would film a selfie testimonial video from the resort, pool, beach, bar, restaurant, etc. We would give them a bonus trip. Well, that website today has over 30,000 video testimonials, more than any other website in the world. But the way it came about, we had to, when that first started, we had to turn the campaign off because it was too expensive to give away those free 3-night getaways we were giving away in Orlando and Vegas. So then we went back, we turned off the campaign, we went back to our hotel partners and said, "You've got a problem and we've come up with an idea. We think we can help you fix your problem." And the problem is your hotel is never full year round. Let's be honest. You're sold out on certain weekends, peak season, special events, but most of the year, 60-70% of the year, you've got 30, 40, 50% of your room sitting empty. And yet you still have the same fixed cost, the mortgage payment, the rent, the front desk staff, maintenance crews. So we convinced a few hotels in Orlando and Vegas to give us access to their unsold empty rooms, where we would put folks in those rooms that would hopefully, this is what we sold the hotels on. Look, these people are going to hopefully spend money at the restaurant, the bar, the gift shop, the excursion desk, they'll upgrade room types, they'll order room service, they'll stay extra days, they'll come back next year and pay full price. Anyway, we got access to this inventory, and now we could go back to giving away our complimentary trips. And we were, again, generating these hundreds of reviews. And then we thought, if we could keep this going, and if we had more hotels worldwide participating, we'd have another standalone business. So we set out to solicit more hotels to participate in an environment where this is a closed environment. Nobody was seeing these discounted rooms across the internet, affecting the hotel's brand. So it's enclosed inside a Marketing Boost community. And we now offer complimentary hotel stays, Kendra, in over 130 destinations around the world, from 3 to 7 night stays, as well as restaurant savings vouchers and hotel savings cards. And those are the incentives that a member of Marketing Boost can use to add value to whatever their call to action is, instead of discounting, for example. So you can say, when you buy product B to go with product A, we'll reward you with a complimentary hotel stay 3 nights in Cancun or Orlando or Las Vegas or what have you. Or if you, when you pay for 12 months in advance, we give you this bonus incentive. Or when you reach your 6-month anniversary, we'll give you this loyalty program reward. And so we have these incentives, and we teach our community of entrepreneurs how to use these incentives and their own, because we do believe, you can create your own incentives, you can create your own BOGO offers, you can create your own added value in your value stack, but you can sometimes add Marketing Boost incentives into the mix to create, again, how more value, stand out from the crowd, etc., without falling down the discount route.
So let's talk about these incentives. You said people could do their own, or they could do the hotel night stays, things like that, which I think is very cool because I love to travel. Who doesn't, right? Well, other than my husband. Okay. But he likes traveling, or he likes going places and seeing things. He doesn't like getting them. But, my big question for you is, how closely related do you find that the incentive should be to the person's business? So I do podcast boot camps and podcast courses. I do an email marketing course. I do a lot of AI training. Hotels don't necessarily go with that. What's your
It's a
view on
it's a great question and a great thought that immediately pops into most people's minds is, well, that sounds great for if I was a travel agent, but how do I use travel incentives for a business that's not related to travel? Well, let me kind of relay it in a different way. Let's take a look at Amazon, who had, here's an example that I want to point out when I talk about incentive-based marketing. Most people don't even really get what I mean. And so, what did Jeff Bezos do in 2005 when he launched Amazon Prime? We paid an extra $79 a year in 2005 to get Amazon Prime. For what? For free shipping. Free shipping was the incentive. That was the draw card that brought us all in. We all became loyal Amazon buyers after that. We'd search on Amazon to see if they had it before we bought it anywhere else because we wanted the free shipping. Here's another example. Now, free shipping does tie into Amazon, but here's an example that doesn't. McDonald's has the Happy Meal. What is the draw of the Happy Meal? They bundle a few items together, the burger, the snack, the soda, and the seasonal toy. What does the toy have to do with food? Nothing. It's something that entertains the child, and it's something that they can, it's a bundle, help us take our eyes off of the price and focus on the prize. And we're parents all over the world for decades have been selecting McDonald's over other fast foods to get the most recent seasonal toy that just came out from the last Disney movie and yada, yada. And so what is your adult Happy Meal, so to speak? Now, with that said, if you position travel, I mean, everybody, it's kind of a global product. We can all, that's kind of what I consider the adult Happy Meal. We all, enjoy or at least envision traveling, or it's a dream to travel. Not everybody can afford to. People, it's amazing how many people never left their city or town. But the incentives, like the restaurant savings vouchers, for example, those are good at over 100,000 restaurants throughout the USA and Canada. And everybody's going to eat out sooner or later, whether you're home or traveling. And these are what I call micro incentives for micro calls to action. So you might try, hey, book a no obligation Zoom call with my team. And for booking the call, and more importantly, showing up on time, we're going to reward you with a $50 restaurant savings voucher that you can use in your zip code. And then when you get them on the Zoom call, you might say, by the way, if you take action today, we were running this special promo, we have a few of these complimentary hotel stays available. If you book before, the end of day Friday, or go ahead and hire us or whatever, we're going to throw in 5 nights in Cancun on us. And then, of course, you'll give the disclaimers. They don't include airfare, they don't include food and beverage, and they don't include the government taxes and fees. But we'll get we'll have your hotel stay covered. And that's if you make people earn it. And then that's when these incentives actually work. If you give them away like candy, although you can with our membership, they don't always start, working at it if they're too easy to acquire. So people need to earn it by referring friends and, relatives to you, or filling out a survey, or, completing a purchase, or, getting past the quick start 90-day program, or, do something to make people earn the incentive. And then you have that reward, that carrot, to help people take the actions that you want them to take. And it definitely, Karen, to answer your question, or rather, Kendra, to answer your question, we have found we have over 30,000 entrepreneurs now. It used to be 27. Now we're going on 31,000 entrepreneurs in our Facebook group alone that are under every industry niche out there that are using these incentives to acquire more leads, or close more sales, or generate loyalty programs, et cetera. So they work in nearly any industry. I haven't seen one that it doesn't work for yet in reality. Everything from real estate agents to selling B2B to, and again, it might even be major big campaigns for this, or even if they're just used occasionally. I'll give you an idea of even solving a customer service problem. Hate to hog the microphone. Is it okay if I give you another
You're
idea here?
okay. I'll cut you off.
Okay, good. So another idea here, even if you're just using them occasionally, like solving a customer service issue. Let's suppose you're doing B2B business and you're helping them with AI tools, like you mentioned, and they signed up for your service, and somehow you dropped the ball, or and you missed the onboarding call, or they didn't get the right link, whatever it might be. It's been a week or two and they're still not getting information from you. Something happened, somebody dropped the ball somewhere, and so now they're ready to go write a negative review and want their money back. Then you might come in and say, look, I'd love to beg you and ask for the opportunity to hit the reset button. If you'll give us a chance to fix the problem, let's get you the right link. Let's get you onboarded properly. Let me get you the right information. Let me, fix your website as I promised, or whatever. And then you come and says, by the way, just for your aggravation, we'd like to give you a 3-night bonus getaway for you and your wife, 3 nights in Las Vegas on us. Um, don't include airfare, doesn't include food and beverage or government taxes and fees, but that's our gift to you. And by the way, if we fix all this issue, if we fix the problem, do the other, and we also give you this bonus trip, would you consider taking down that negative review, or at least updating it? And now you've got for example, a tool to help you manage your online reputation. And, obviously you still have to fix the problem for your client, but the incentive might be something to gift them that doesn't cost you a lot of money. And now you're able to potentially, remove, or at least have them update the negative review and help you manage your online reputation, amongst many other ideas on how you can use these.
Well, I think the cool thing about this, and thinking about the value added incentives for a lot of my listeners, is going to be, a lot of times you're uncomfortable asking for something, right? People are busy. You're uncomfortable sending an email. You're uncomfortable, sending your regular email newsletter. You're uncomfortable making a phone call to really interview your target audience. But if you had something, I'll liken this to when I used to train people who were going to trade shows. They always needed pens, because they needed something for that conversation. They needed to be able to give something to somebody to feel more comfortable approaching them, because they just didn't want to walk up to some stranger with nothing and say, "Hey, do you want to talk to me about whatever I got over here?" And that was a hard conversation to have. But having something like this, having an incentive in your pocket, whatever that happens to be, I think has a lot of value, not just for the customer or client, but also for the person that's offering it. It makes you feel, I think, a little bit more comfortable with what you're asking, I guess.
That's true. And it also is a draw card, whether you're the one reaching out to hand someone the brochure or the business card or what have you, with it's also the draw card with good signage at your, trade show booths is a perfect example of how these incentives have helped many trade, vendors, whatever your business model is, to get people to step up, something to talk about, something that's give them a reason to hit your QR code and enter their name, phone number, and email. So you might be saying, hey, we're giving away a trip to Cancun at the trade show. Somebody this weekend's going to win. We're giving away 1 trip to Cancun and 1 to Las Vegas. So, click here, the QR code. You're handing them you got your table tent sign you're handing up saying, click the QR code and sign up. And you have to have a tablet, and make them use your tablet and use the same thing everybody else has been touching, which I hate to do. But, it might. But if you have a QR code, everybody's got a phone, bam, now you're getting them to stop, fill out the information to enter to win. Now you're getting an accurate name, phone number, and email to put into your database, put into your email sequencing, your follow-up texting sequencing. And a conversation starts to talk about, can I share with you what we do here at our, booth? And now you start talking, whether or not your product or service is a good fit. So they work at trade shows. They work at, here's another killer idea, Kendra, that a lot of our users do to take their typical sales hat off. We're always, on sales mode. And sometimes, if you don't do that right, your prospects or wherever you might be, you start in on sales mode and they're like arms go up. And so we teach people, we have a lot of members that use our incentives to support nonprofits and fundraising opportunities, whether it be local, especially local, it works well, whether it be a high school football fundraising, equipment drive, or any other nonprofit idea. You could go in with your company, say, I'm a realtor, and I could come up and say, hey, we'd like to sponsor your next fundraising event. We're going to give you a half a dozen complimentary vacations that you can auction off, sell raffle tickets to, or what have you. You get to keep all the money. What we need to do, and then we'll give everybody who attends the fundraising event a $100 restaurant savings voucher just for attending. And and now you've got a reason to get everybody at the event. You say, all we need as the sponsor of the event, we need to be able to tell everybody the disclaimers. Hey, these incentives that you're going to be bidding on or buying tickets for, they don't include airfare. They don't include food and beverage. Don't include government taxes and fees. And by the way, everybody who register here, if you register, you get a $50 restaurant savings voucher. You're passing around your QR code banner. Everybody's signing up. You're getting all the leads to follow up, and you didn't come across as a salesy. You're there to support the nonprofit. You're rubbing shoulders with philanthropists, and you are looking like the authority, the expert, the hero for supporting the good cause with the complimentary hotel stays sponsored by your company. And the leads, we've seen people generating more leads they know what to do with in this type of strategy. And they're supporting a good cause, and they're having a good time, and they're making, socializing and making friends, etc. So just another idea on how these can be used.
I love those ideas. So everybody that's listening, what I want you to do is to get creative. Check out marketingboost.com. We'll have a link to it in the show notes. You can definitely check that out. Look at that. But think about the value-added incentives that you can provide that's going to add a bit of the wow factor for people that are working with you and dealing with you, and a way to really set you apart and differentiate you in a busy marketplace, right? There are a ton of opportunities, a ton of different ways that you can leverage things like this. Again, even if you're not using Marketing Boost and you're using value-added incentives that you create, a friend of mine, actually, I found an error on something that she was doing, and she's like, hey, as a thank you, I'm going to give you a 30-minute consulting session. And I'm like, that's worth every penny of the email I sent. I said I'd send it anyway, but it was just a nice little thank you touch point that she did that was very helpful. So I think that this is a really great way to get people thinking about how they can differentiate themselves and how they can leverage value-added incentives to not feel like they're bothering people when there's information and things that they need and things that they want from others. There's an exchange of value, right? And I think that that's what's really key, and it's going to help build the relationship or repair the relationship depending on how you're leveraging it. So great information. Thank you so much, Marco. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, because we'll be wrapping things up now because people stop listening at the 30-minute mark here. I do want to ask you the question that I ask everybody, and that is, this show is called Imperfect Marketing because marketing is anything but a perfect science. What has been your biggest marketing lesson learned?
Lesson learned was, I go back to when Apple switched up into the iOS 14 and iOS 15, and suddenly our Facebook ads were no longer working. And we essentially were not nimble enough, and we just refused. We had too much marketing in one basket. Everything was Facebook. At that point, we'd spent over $70 million on Facebook ads alone for our multiple brands of marketing for our travel websites and what have you. So we were huge Facebook marketers, and not much anywhere else, which is the mistake. So when iOS changed the rules and the privacy policies, and it eliminated the ability for us to target anybody with an Apple device, and eliminated the ability to do our remarketing and to do our audience target marketing, and lookalike audiences, and all that information was all private now, and nobody was getting our ads. It destroyed our marketing ROI, and we just kept refused to essentially pull back. We kept saying we had a huge team, 100 telemarketers and a call center in the Philippines, and we felt loyal to our staff and didn't want to make cuts. And so instead of, realizing this is permanent, we're going to need to cut back on our staff, cut back on our marketing, find new outsources, new sources of marketing. We kept throwing money at Facebook, trying to find new ways to make it happen. And in the meantime, we're losing money on Facebook and losing money with too much of a staff. And I guess the point I'm making is the lesson learned was not to be quicker at taking action of, making the hard choices of possibly laying people off and pulling back on marketing that's not working. And it's kind of like playing in the casino. When the game changes or your luck changes, it's time to walk away sometimes.
Oh, there you go.
and
Great
and we
advice you can
don't,
use.
often we just keep putting more down, doubling down on this. I'm going to get my money back, and before you know it, you're could be filing bankruptcy. Well, we didn't get that far, but we certainly lost a lot of money, and it wasn't good. So.
No, and I think it's important to note there's always going to be changes in technology. And as people become more private and technology becomes more savvy, it does create problems for us as marketers and advertisers. So you want to diversify, you want to be experimenting at all times so that you have a backup plan and you know what's next, right? Um, I am a big Facebook advertiser, so I get it. It works. But it's a lot harder to get it to work now than it used to be. Thank you,
Mhm.
Apple. So definitely important information to think about and to take into consideration. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do appreciate it. All right. Well, if you learned something today, it would really help us out if you would rate and subscribe wherever you're listening. Be sure to check out the show notes and connect with Marco and marketingboost.com. Again, we look forward to seeing you on another episode of Imperfect Marketing. Have a great rest of your day.